Well, hello, this is Becky Norwood and Elizabeth Gagnon, and we're just delighted to be here today. And Elizabeth, I have to say, wow, congratulations. You're amazing. And I've watched you grow over the years because today is the book launch for Sacred Hearts Rising, and this one's called Sparks of Life. And I remember when you wrote in the first Sacred Heart Rising book and had a chapter in there, and what a difference I see in you. It's amazing.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's been crazy, right?
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, tell us part of your journey. I want to read a little bit about your bio first, and then talk about your journey, what's transpired in your life since that first time you shared your story to now. So Elizabeth is a published, best-selling international co-author. She's a keynote speaker, founder, creator, advocate, and change maker for mental health, abuse, and grief. She's the founder, creator of Miss Liz's Tea Parties, Tea Times, and host of Tea Time with Miss Liz, making a difference one cup at a time. That sounds fascinating. So you actually have a little tea shop, right? Your tea house? Or?
I host Tea Times online, and I bring guests from all over the world onto my platform.
Awesome.
that make a difference in the world. So to give them a voice, right? So.
Wow, that must be very, very rewarding for you.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It says since 2015, events have grown exponentially and raised over $5,000 for women transition houses, sexual abuse services, bereaved family services, and many others close to her heart. She also hosts an annual Christmas open house for single moms, their children, and the homeless. Wow, that's amazing. She's heavily involved with bereaved families of Cornwall, Ontario until its closing, and is a member of the CANAA, which is Community Action Network Against Abuse. She was a Sacred Hearts Rising leader for change until direction in her path took her to another way that she, as a firm believer in message from the universe. So you've done such amazing things. You've got awards, and you've been nominated in the 2020 Small Business Person of the Year Award. So you have a lot to rejoice about and be happy and proud of for being able to do what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh my goodness, my journey, I started off as a mouse, as you know, Becky. In my first one, I was really shy. When we did our first interview for book one, right, I was like, oh my God, I got it out. I did it. I finally got my voice. And then I wrote in book two, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm opening more. The journey has opened more doors along the way, and they've been all good doors for me. Learning experiences, blessings, people who have come into my life have really just made a huge difference, right? And with book three, I shared on mental health, and I believe that we need to bring strong awareness to mental health. So I wanted people to understand that what you see on the outside is not what's in the inside. You don't see all the darkness, the heaviness, you see this, but you don't see what's in. And I want people to see that. And that's why I gave my title The Hidden Gem, because there's a gem inside, so.
Well, I remember when I first met you, and what the difference that I see in you now compared to then is just remarkable. And I'm really proud of you that you, because it's a choice. It is a choice to choose to grow or to stay where we are. And the staying where we are is really painful.
It is. And by sharing our stories, right, we're not saying that it's not there, the pain's not there. We're saying that we no longer want to hold that heavy pain, that weight on our shoulders, that guilt, that shame. We want it gone. So by writing and sharing, that's what you're doing. You're releasing that heaviness. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's been for me. Like, it's been, the weight has been lifted off, right? So
you release it, and in the process of releasing, not only does it change you, but it impacts the lives of many others around you. Those that actually pick up the story and read it, suddenly they're not so alone. Suddenly they realize there's a way to come overcome, to rise above, to do whatever that it takes to heal from it. But I have found writing has been one of the best tools ever. That because when you have to put it down on paper and really think through the process, it puts so much into perspective.
Yep.
And I think that those nuggets of understanding also come about, but it's also about the forgiveness as well, and forgiveness is what we do for ourselves.
Exactly. It's for us.
Yes.
Yeah. And by writing in a book, it's completely different, right? Like when you write in a journal, it's in a journal. But once it's in a book and it's published and it goes worldwide, like it's going to, because I believe in Sacred Hearts 100%, like we're going to get that number one, right? So, because everybody's going to go and get a copy, because I believe in it, right? So for writing in a book, and then reading it, when you get that book, like when I got my first book, when I wrote book one and I got the hard copy in my hand, I cried because it's there now. It's there for life. No matter what happens to you, it's there. Your story is there for life, In 20 years, somebody might be reading that story and saying, oh my goodness, this girl, these amazing authors, like, the power, it's amazing when you write in a book, and I highly recommend it. Like, if you want to heal, writing's the way to go. For me, it saved my life. So,
well, I think it did mine as well, because when I shared my first book and it became an international bestseller, and the name of it was The Woman I Love, and it's because I had to learn to love myself before I could really truly be loved by anybody else. But it set me free. And in doing, knowing the number of people that actually reached out to me and said, men and women both that read the book said, wow, thank you for sharing a story and having the courage to do so. But look at what we have available to us to do that today.
Exactly.
We're living in a remarkable time. Even in this time of huge change on our whole entire earth, we are living at an amazing time.
We are. And it's a good time to get a book.
Yes, it is. So be sure, if you're watching this, be sure and pick up your copy of Sacred Hearts Rising Sparks of Light. It's released today. The Kindle is really good discount. It's at 99 cents right now. The print book, I always like to get the print and have it in my hands. And,
it's magic. It's like you guys want to buy a good book and hold it.
Right. So tell us about your tea time chats and what that includes. What is involved in that?
Well, for me, it was always about making a difference, right? It's like my Christmas parties for the single moms and the homeless, right? I wanted people to feel welcome. And some people don't feel welcome, or some people are not known of, or organizations or foundations are not known of, and they're making incredible changes in the world. So I wanted to give them that platform where they just come in and have a cup of tea with a friend and share how they got started, their journey, just like we're doing right now. Like, share your journey and get it out there, because there's so many incredible people out there in the world that we don't know about. And it just seems like they're all falling on my lap. If I do one tea time, then another person comes and another person comes, and they're like, can I be? And I'm like, my door is open for all walks of life. I don't care where you are in life. If you have a story and you have made a difference for yourself or for others, I want you on my tea time.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Well, I'll be on your tea time one of these days.
For sure.
So it's just a pleasure to see you now and to see how far you've come. It shows in your smile. It shows in your everything about the way you hold yourself compared to the way you felt before. Not that you weren't always beautiful. That's not what I'm saying.
No, and I mean that, right? Because when I was with Leaders for Change for Sacred Hearts for a bit, I always asked Brenda, why me? Like, why? And she's like, the transformation, Liz. Look at the transformation of book 1 to book 3, where you are. Your smile compared to your picture in book 1 to book 3, and these speaker things, right? Technology and we are not good. But I seen that when she told me that, I seen that, and I see that transformation. And Brenda and me have had this incredible journey together that it was meant to be, right? I needed to meet Brenda for a reason, and I needed to take that journey with Brenda, and it was nobody else but Brenda that needed to do it with me.
Right.
And
Well, she is a special gift.
she is.
Mhm.
And I started following Brenda on Facebook. I'm from Ontario. Brenda's in Alberta. Like, I never knew Brenda at all, but she had written a book called Hear Me, and all my life I wanted to be heard. So I said, I need to follow this woman. I need to follow her. And we started talking to each other back and forth. And then she had put out that she wanted to do an anthology. And I believe she was looking for grandparents at the time. And then she turned it around and she wanted different stories. So then I said, what about me? Do you think? And then she's like, Liz, I think you can. Like, I believe in you. You can do this. And I was like, but my story's hard. Like, it's a heavy one. And when I first wrote, we were only allowed like 2,100 words, and I wrote like 9,000. It was just like, bloop, it wanted out, right? And Brenda's like, whoa. we'll
get
it.
Scale that back a little.
Yeah, we'll get it. But and that's why I knew that I had to do book two, and book 3, and that. And I'm all about lessons and messages, right? Since I was a little girl, and I needed to be on my own, and I needed to watch for myself. So the message was 3 steps. For some reason, everything in my life is 3 steps. So I knew book 1, 2, and 3. And then it was time for me to, open the door for someone else. But I needed those 3 steps to be where I am today. So
that's awesome. Well, you've really shined your light, and you, by giving in the way that you do, that helps bring to life the good stories, the stories of transformation from so many. Then it's a beautiful role that you're playing, because it's what our world needs, and our world needs to show that there's a better way, that there's ways to heal, that there's ways to be well. And it doesn't mean that we don't face times that trigger certain emotions based on what our past has been, but for the most part, we're able to rise above.
Exactly. And we need to stand on it, right? Not in it. Because when we're in it, we're in that victim mode, right? We're not in the healing mode. When we're on it, we're like, you know what? There's a solution. I'm having a hard day, but there's a solution for this day. Today is just a hard day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be better.
Tomorrow is better. And we don't stay there. And it seems like I know for myself, there was periods of depression that would hang over like a wet blanket. And it was so exhausting.
Yeah.
And I very, very, very rarely get those anymore. And even when that does happen, it's very temporary in comparison to the way it used to be. So
well, you have that tool, right? Of knowing that, okay, today is just a hard day.
Right.
Tomorrow will be better. And if tomorrow's not better, it's just another hard day. But it's not the end.
But there's also tools that you can use and it's a matter of accepting and making use of those tools, even if it's stopping and reading a good book, or singing, or going for a walk, or doing something to change the pattern, just anything to make it to kind of interrupt the pattern of what's happening.
Well, I think that's what we do, right? As authors, we change the pattern. We change that cycle.
We do.
We no longer want that pattern. We break it, and we give it a voice, and we say, you know what, this is enough, and we want to do something different with our lives. And those are the ones that are going to make a difference, is the ones that say, you know what, I've had enough.
Right. And isn't life better when when we make that decision?
Like, all the things that have happened to me in the last year, like being nominated for the Global Peace Ambassador of Canada, like, I would have never thought of being that, I'm just this little northern girl who had no voice growing up, and now I'm the ambassador of Canada. Like hello. Like, and it's all because I shared in book 1. Like, I would not be where I am today if I would not have shared in Sacred Hearts. I might have been somewhere close to it, but not anywhere close to what I am today. And it's
so
because
beautiful.
of Sacred Hearts. And Sacred Hearts is not just a book. Like for me, I've said it over and over again. Everybody asks me what Sacred Hearts is to me. It's my family. It's my brothers. It's my sisters. It's the brothers and sisters and mom I never had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm creating my family. And I'm creating a family with supportive people who want to see us all grow. You know? And that's what Sacred Hearts means to me.
It's beautiful. Well, you are a blessing to the world and a blessing to even to your family, you know, that you're using this time to shine the light on who you are, who you truly are, what lies deep inside. So congratulations. I'm very, very pleased to have this conversation with you. I remember our first one, and this is just light years a difference. And so,
well, and I've noticed the flow, right? Because how does the universe work, right? The universe has a message for us. And I was sitting last night and reflecting, and I said, you know what, I have this interview tomorrow with Becky, and I haven't seen you since book one, right?
Right.
And I said, you know, and then I'm looking at all of the titles of my chapters, and they all flow because book one was The Broken Porcelain Doll, book two was Shining Through the Double Grief, and book three is The Gem, The Hidden Gem. So it all flows into a nice little pattern, right? But who would have known, right, that 3 years and they all just flow like a nice cup of tea. So
yeah, that's beautiful. Awesome. Wow. What a delightful interview, and really proud of you for where you are now, and keep on shining your light. It's been beautiful. So
well,
for those listening, be sure and pick up a copy of this amazing book. Not only is the cover absolutely stunning, it's a beautiful, beautiful cover, but the contents is what makes this book so special. And pick up a copy of the book, read Elizabeth's chapter in the other chapters, and I've got a little frog in my throat. It's like,
that's the humor, right? We got to put the humor in. We got to laugh.
You're like, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Becky.
Very good. And so the link is down in the comment section below. So just pick up the copy of that book and enjoy every page. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Becky.
There we